Hey everybody, it's Lily and I hope that you are doing well. As you can see, I've got a look for you today. Also, I was able to get a few things in from Sephora, so if you're interested in this look and what I picked up, please stick around. First item that I want to talk about is something that you've seen me use in some other videos, so I wanted to make sure that I went and picked it up again. This is the Too Faced Hangover Primer. Love this stuff. I ran out of the last one. I think the last time I purchased it was a container or it came in a box that had 2 items in it, and it had both of these, so I picked up both of them. Unfortunately, this time I had to get them separately. I wasn't able to purchase these together, and I hate that I wasn't able to do that, but I will go ahead and post how much I paid for each one separately, but I kind of wish that they were together in that same little box, because I remember the box with both full-size items were like $40 or something like that, and I think separately, I don't want to come up with the price off the top of my head, but I will go ahead and post it so that you can see how much I paid for both of them. Another item that I got was, I went back to get the Huda Beauty foundation. It is the Faux Filter High Coverage Cream Foundation, and I really like it. It's in the shade Nutmeg. If you haven't figured out yet, I am a foundation junkie, I guess you would say. So I went on and picked this one back up. I loved the other one. It seemed like it kind of ran out on me kind of quickly, and maybe that's because I used it so often. But I really like this foundation. Another thing that I got was something that I was running out of again. When I participated in this, really it was the VIB sale. It kind of kicked me over into Rouge, but I just went on and got products that I usually use. I didn't want to try to buy anything this time, to try to see how it works and all that. I didn't have time for that. Okay, so I just went on and got items that I knew I needed. You know what I mean? So this one is that Milk Hydro Grip Primer. It really works. Now, I've seen some other videos where people have found dupes, like I think there's an e.l.f. one where you put it on, it's a lot like this. It has the same consistency, I guess, and you put it on and it gets really sticky. I like the fact that it grips your foundation and it gets really sticky. So I did buy another one of these, and so I wanted to make sure that I had something that was good. And really, what I like about this type of primer is it really brings out the integrity of all of the foundations that you use, whatever company. It could be Maybelline, from Maybelline to Huda Beauty to Fenty, whatever it is, it really brings it out, and you really want to catch the integrity of the foundation. So that's why I went on and picked this one up. Also, I got this. I guess this is a it says Partners in Crime. This is the Urban Decay Glide On Eye Pencil. It says 24/7. And what it is it's actually 2 pencils. So 2 pencils come in here, which is really just the dark brown one and the black one. I've never used this company before as far as eyeliner is concerned, but I've seen a lot of people use it, and it seems to glide on really well. And so I thought, well, it would be smarter for me to get the 2 that I know that I use. No, I will not be using this brown one for my eyebrows, but definitely for my eyes. And so I wanted to try it. So we'll probably try it out today just to see if we like it, to see if it works, and we should be able to go from there. Okay, so I'll be able to use this today, but I liked that it came together. I think it was in like a holiday type collection. Whenever you see things, items that kind of come together, especially if they're full-size items and things like that, usually it's in some type of holiday collection. I haven't really seen as many items come together, so maybe it was a long time ago that I purchased these together or whatever, but for some reason I like to shop around the holidays because I can get more bang for my buck, and I was really able to do this as well. So I'll put the price down as well, so you can see how much I paid for these two, just in case you want to pick them up before the Christmas rush and all of that. You can do that. Also, I want to say this might be the last item before we start working on our makeup. The last item that I got was this Fenty Beauty, what is this? The Hydrating Long Wear Foundation. I used this one time, and I got so many compliments on how great my skin looked. Now let's be honest. My skin is not all that. And so when I put this on, I mean, people were saying, "Oh, you have such beautiful skin." So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try this out today, and hopefully it works out for us. Hopefully we like the finish. Hopefully you guys like the finish. I'll actually be able to see it on camera. I know that when I used it, it was easy to blend. It looked wonderful. I really liked it. So I'm going to use it with my regular primers, the regular way that I've used foundation and everything like that, because I think it's really great to, yes, get the primer and everything that surrounds this, but I'm going to use it with some things that I usually use. Okay, I don't want to just go and buy primer and then buy, everything else, the concealer. I don't have the concealer. I'm going to use what I usually use, just so I can see how this one will act. And I think I wore this one day to work, and I had people even telling me that it looked amazing. The color that I'm using is 445. That's the color that I selected for this one, 445. But I think the color that I usually use with the other one, I didn't really like the other foundation. The first foundation that they came out with, I didn't really like that one. But this one is actually in the color 430. This is in 430, and this one is in 445. As you can see with the 430, it does seem a little bit more red in it, the red tone, and so this one is a little bit it's a little bit more neutral. And so I'm going to try this one again and see how it acts in the light. All right, so here we go. All right, the first thing that I'm going to do, I do have a clean face. I did want to do our face. All right, so today I am going to use most of the products that I purchased. So I'm going to use the Too Faced Hangover Primer first. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is just get maybe, all right, so I'm going to get maybe a pump or two, maybe 2 pumps, and I'm just going to put that actually all over my face. For this primer, I love it everywhere. All right, I moisturized my lips today with actually some Aquaphor. If you know anything about Aquaphor, usually some people use the Aquaphor for babies or for little kids, and it's kind of like, it has like a Vaseline consistency. I really like it, but it really soaks up the skin. But they came out with a lip repair, so that's what I'm using on my lips. So I'm just trying that out today as well. So after I use that hangover primer, I kind of like to let that set just for a moment, and then I'm going to go in and do my eyebrows, and then I'll be right back.
Okay, so right here I'm just using my Black Opal concealer in Toast. No, I think that's Tan. And I'm using an e.l.f. concealer brush to blend it out, just to make sure it's nice and even. Now I'm getting some setting powder. That is the Fenty setting powder, just a little bit in Cashew. Now you can see that I'm pointing out that color that I'm about to use for a transition shade. I'm trying to get a shade that is almost exactly identical to my skin tone, because I want a nice gradient effect, but I want to use colors that are very close to my complexion, and so that's why I'm using that brown shade there to blend out right there above my crease area. Now I'm going in with this orange shade. I want that to make up most of my crease area. So what I'm doing is I am trying to put it on and then blend it out so I won't have to do so much work later. So it's an orange shade. It's still in that same, I'm still in that same Morphe palette. And so I'm just adding that color as much as possible because I kind of want it to stand out a little bit for this fall look. So I'm using this orange shade to go right in my crease, and I'm bringing it all the way in. Using this Morphe E17 brush, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and on the bottom of the Morphe palette, there are some dark colors. So that's what I'm trying to show you there. I'm using just a really nice, rich chocolate brown, but I didn't want it to be, that charcoal brown. This is a kind of a reddish brown that I'm using. It is darker than my skin tone, but I'm going to use that just a little bit in those corners. Just kind of in a V shape, I'm using that darker brown, but it's a reddish brown. I chose the reddish brown because I wanted for it to pick up the orange a little bit. I wanted the red in that reddish brown to pick up the orange just a little bit, and so that's why I'm using that reddish brown shade rather than a deep um, charcoal brown color. What I have here is I have the Juvia's Place concealer that is in shade 11. That's actually the shade that I use under my eyes, but it's in shade number 11. What I'm doing is I'm just putting a little bit on my eyelids to pick up the color that I am about to use. And what I'm doing here is I just want to blend it out just a little bit. I don't want it to be too sharp, but I do want it to really be able to, I want the color to really be able to kind of come through because of those darker shades, especially that chocolate color. The shade I'm using now, I would usually use to go under my eyebrows, but I'm using it actually as a lid color. So I'm just smoothing that all over. And here again, these are all matte shades that I'm using. So this is a very matte sand, light sand type color. Right now, I'm just using, still on that Morphe palette. I'm just using some more of that orange shade just to kind of bring it out just a little bit because we've done so much work on that brown. Um, and then I'm going into the Fenty setting powder, and that's what I'm actually going to use to go underneath my brows right there, just to set the concealer that I have under my brows. I don't want it slipping and sliding because I have allowed for it to be on there. So I just want to set that concealer so that the look will begin to come together. So here I've gotten a little frustrated because that orange is not coming through. So what I did was I picked up Patricia Bright's um, Rich in Life uh, palette. And what I did is I got the color Try Me. As you can see, I'm just wiping off my brush. That is the Morphe M573 brush. I'm going into that color Try Me, which is another burnt orange. And I just want to see if it's going to bring the color out just a little bit for me. And as you can see, it's bringing it out just a little bit. I'm trying to be careful so that I don't mess up any of the other colors. And I'm saying, finally, it's there. Here I've picked up the Urban Decay Dark Brown Eyeliner in Demolition. That's the name of the color. That dark brown shade is Demolition. And I'm just going to line my lash line. Okay, so what I just did was I picked up the picked up a dark brown or chocolate cream eyeliner, and I'm just going to use that because I knew that it was going to glide on a little bit faster. It's not that I wanted the color to be darker, it's just that I wanted it to go ahead and glide on a little bit quicker than that Urban Decay. They both work very, very well. This is my favorite part. As you can see, that's that Milk Hydro Grip primer. Yes, this is the second primer that I'm using. I don't know why I like using more than one primer, but it just kind of works for me in the look for me to achieve the look. So I'm just putting that all over my skin, and I'm really excited about using this new foundation. Ooh, honey, you can see I'm already feeling myself. But what you need to do is make sure that primer, you let that primer kind of set for at least about a minute. And then I'm going to go in with my Fenty setting powder, and I'm just going to set the areas that get a little shiny, where the oil tries to start seeping through. So I'm just setting that just a little bit. And I'm doing this even before I put on my foundation. I like to start off with just two pumps, and I do this with every foundation. Usually I start off with just two pumps, and then I see how far I can get with those two, and then if I feel like I need to add another one pump or two sometimes, then I will do that. But I think I was able to do my entire face with three pumps, and I liked the coverage that it gave me. Picked up that Hangover setting spray just to help set just a little bit before I go into adding my concealer. I'm just trying to make sure I get in every wrinkle, well, not wrinkle, but every every little place in my skin. So that's why I like to spray that foundation as well. As you can see, I'm going with an Old Fave, the Born This Way concealer, and I actually picked up the wrong one. I have Born This Way in chestnut and in maple, and so I wanted to make sure that I used the maple. Maple is a little bit more yellow. I am actually going to allow for this concealer to kind of sit for about a minute before I start blending out. As you can see here, I'm blending out a little bit, and that foundation is still coming through. It almost, I mean, it seems like the concealer has kind of thinned out a little bit, so I may have to add just a little bit more to give me the coverage that I want. So I was very, very pleased with this kind of foundation, and so I should have just sat just for another moment or two to allow for that concealer to dry just a little bit. I am blending out my concealer kind of in a tree form there on my forehead because I don't want to make my forehead look any bigger than it already is. So I'm just trying to blend out right now, and then I'm going to use that Fenty in Cashew to set. What I picked up here is the Maybelline Superstay Foundation in the color Espresso. It's number 380. And what I'm doing is I'm going to use it just there on my cheeks and a little bit under my chin so that I can contour. And so I'm going to actually use the other end to do the blending. So this is the Maybelline Color Stay, no, excuse me, the Maybelline Superstay in the color Espresso. Now I'm just setting everything. As I said before, I'm using that um, Fenty to set in the color Cashew. And so you have to kind of be careful with it because as you can see, I'm really just taking most of it from the back of my hand to go in because you can really use too much and you don't want to look cakey. So that's what I'm doing now is I'm just setting all of the concealer, especially my under eye concealer and all of that. I'm setting that first. Now I have my Micro Smooth powder in the color Deep by Sephora. If you want, you can still use your mineralized skin finish, but this was a little bit more affordable. So I like the way that it brings everything together. So I'm just getting powder all over my face, especially for the areas that just had foundation. So I'm wanting everything to kind of come together, and that's what this powder does. It just brings your whole face together. That is the Fenty Coco Mami. And I'm going in with a Milani brush, actually. It's the powder and a bronzer brush from Milani. And so I'm just going in really quickly and just adding a little bit of warmth to my face because that espresso foundation stick is really dark. So I'm just using just a little bit to kind of bring a little bit of warmth back. This is Juvia's Place, the Saharan Blush Palette. This is volume 2. I'm actually going to use those two colors, that orange color and that pink shade. I wanted to bring out a little bit more of the pink on my cheeks, and it was a little too pink, but I left it alone. I'm going to go in now and line my waterline with that same Urban Decay Demolition, and I'm going to keep that volume 2 palette and use the orange shade just to smoke it out a little bit and bring some of that orange all the way around to the underneath my eyes. Okay, I have the Huda Beauty um, Golden Sands edition. That is the highlighter, and the color, the specific color that I just showed you, is Zanzibar. I use that in some of my videos. I really, really like it. I'm going to go in and use it in my tear duct area. I'm going to use that Zanzibar in my tear duct area, and as well as on my cheeks to highlight. Okay, I love these lashes. These lashes were only $3.99 at my local beauty supply store. I'm showing you now what the lash actually looks like, and I'm going to then spray my face. I'm going to set my face with the Hangover Primer while my lashes are drying. I put the glue on there already, and so I'm just waiting on them to dry. Also, as you can see here, I am pressing in the Hangover, that's the Hangover setting powder. I'm pressing in the setting powder into my skin so that as it dries, it will just really just set. I'm just kind of pressing and rolling just a little bit to go ahead and allow for that to dry. For my lips, brown lip liner, whatever lip liner works for you. I'm just using a typical brown lip liner, and then I'm actually going to go in with a CoverGirl. This is a CoverGirl orange shade that I've had for a long time. I just want to show you the color. It kind of has a little sheen to it, or shimmery look to it. So I'm just using that as my lipstick. I'm using an orange CoverGirl lipstick. Now I'm using a NYX lip gloss. It is called Peach Nude. That's the name of it, Peach Nude. It's by NYX. And so I'm just going to put that on top, and it's going to really bring out more of a coral type look. My face is dry now, so I'm going into that Huda Beauty highlight palette, and I'm going into Zanzibar once again, and I'm going to put it on my cheeks for a highlight. I like to use the highlight after my face has dried from the setting spray. Here I'm just doing a little cleanup so that I can have the finished look. This is actually the same unit that I've used before, and so I'll have all that information down in the description box.
Okay, everybody, this is the finished look. Hopefully you liked it. I'm using the same unit that is from the last video. I wanted to do something different with the front, but I really like this unit. I like this makeup. What I wanted to do was kind of use some corals and some oranges just to kind of tie in that fall look, even though we are at the pretty much at the end of fall. I wanted to create some eye looks that had those matte colors. As you can see a little bit earlier, I had a little bit of trouble with that Morphe palette, but Patricia Bright's palette came right through for me with that orange, so I was able to use some more of the oranges. I hope you enjoyed spending a few moments with me, and I hope to see you in my next video. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, follow me on social media. I'll have all of the things up there in the description box for you to be able to join me, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye.